Assalamu alaikum everybody, it's Drago, and today we are starting today's video is a what if. It's essentially what if lags from Dragon Ball Heroes grew up alongside Son Goku. So the way this story begins, it is that is the on so we begin this story on the Glass Tribe homeworld about 2,000 years before the beginning of the canonical story, about 2,000 years before the beginning of Dragon Ball. and essentially the scene in it is a desolate world of molten sand and destroyed crystalline structure is with a young girl about 5 years old running in terror as a what looks like a freezer-like individual happens to be killing all the glass people. In this world, and as the child is maniacally laughing, ho ho ho! I will kill all of you pathetic little glass maker. As he aims a death beam at the young girl. At that exact moment, a strange purple spiral-like tear in front opens up right in front of the young legs, and as she is desperate to escape the extinction of her race, she manages to get through, jump right through the strange in space, landing on a pristine-looking mountain. Though she does not recognize the environment, and thus she creates as she is on the edge of the mountain, she creates a glass platform, essentially a geometric pristine glass panel, geometric yet somewhat cracked glass panel right over the edge of the mountain, she then walks over and looks at to which she then walks over to it and takes a look at all the valleys and villages and small villages is beneath around the mountain, and realizing that the environment is safe. Realizing the environment seems to be safe. Actually, I changed my mind. Sorry about this, guys. I don't exactly have a script or anything. Anyway, so as she comes out with the purple ripping space, as she's on the edge of a pristine-looking mountain, and with beautiful leaves and trees and animal and scared-looking animals backing up from her. Scared-looking animals. However, the animals do not run away. Instead, they simply observe her as she and through the tree to find cover. She ends up running into an elderly man, a certain elderly man, and 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 a and a monkey-tailed little boy with spiky black hair. Uh, 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 with the two of them spotting her, the elderly man and sees the panic in her eyes. So, with a soft voice, as he asks, "Who are you, child? How did you get here? Can we help you?" However, Lags does not answer with words, causing causing the elderly man, who is indeed Grandpa Gohan, to realize that she has gone through a traumatic event and is too shocked to speak. However, Goku, being Goku, and asks her if she likes to walks over to her, asking, "Do you like fighting?" "I do." However, the scared young Lags slowly backs away, causing Goku to be sad. As Grandpa Gohan points out, it seems she's been through a lot, Goku. Let's just give her some space, okay? To which Goku understands, and while Goku does not understand, and her reaction, he at least understands that he's scared. He is able to understand that she is scared, and so he asks. So he then softens his voice as well, asking, "Do you like to eat food?" However, instead of reacting with words, the young Lag's stomach starts growling, and feeling embarrassed, Lags tries to hide herself under the leaves, as her face goes red from the embarrassment. So Grandpa Gohan then says, "You can come with us. Our house is nearby. You can have some food there." However, Lags does not answer with words. However, as Grandpa Gohan and Goku start walking back in the direction to their humble little shack, she follows them from behind. She follows behind them, but from a distance. So Goku slows down when tries to make some small talk with her. However, Lags does not. Once more, Lags is completely silent. And however, she even steps even further back, causing Goku to realize she wants to realize she needs space. She needs actual physical space. However, as Lags tensed up due to her anxiety, and due to a mixture of anxiety, fear, and even perhaps claustrophobia, to both Goku and Grandpa Gohan's surprise, she made cracked-looking glass panels appear around her, causing both Goku and Grandpa Gohan to stop in stunned surprise as Grandpa Gohan then asks, "How did you do that?" Still keeping his voice soft to avoid it scaring her. Though this time Lags verbally answer is with a soft yet high-pitched, soft-toned yet high-pitched, almost mirror-like, almost silky smooth mirror-like voice. It's just something my people can do, or something they could do before they were killed. And hearing this causes both Goku and Grandpa Gohan to momentarily to offer a moment of silence out of respect for her profound loss. And after the silent moment where the only sound was the brush of the wind and the bristle of the leaves, Goku then points out that she can stay with them, to which Grandpa Gohan agrees. However, Lags simply shakes her head as if non-verbally saying no, as if non-verbally disagreeing. However, both Goku and Grandpa Gohan essentially insist and their overwhelming kindness of these two strangers causes Lags to give it and even start crying due to both a mixture of their kindness but also out of seeing her own family be killed. As Goku and Grandpa Gohan both try to get closer to her to comfort her, this time she does not back away. Moments later, the trio arrives at the iconic wooden shack belonging to Grandpa Gohan, and as they enter, Grandpa Gohan then asks if there's anything specific she would like, though she simply shakes her head. And as Grandpa Gohan already knows, Goku will quite literally eat anything. So Grandpa Gohan essentially starts cooking some noodles. And once again, Goku tries to ask Lags some questions. However, she takes a back step, overwhelmed by the young boy's questions. However, she then points at his tail and shrugs her shoulders as if silently asking how he got that tail, to which Goku would simply say, I don't know, I've always had it. I don't know, I guess I've always had it. Causing Lags to become curious on whether it's just something he attached to his body, if it's just a prop or an actual limb. And as she asks the question, Goku enthusiastically says, "Yeah, it's real. I can move it." And as he indeed, and Goku starts wagging his tail nonchalant, starts wagging his tail energetically. However, his hyper-energetic movements startle Lags, and seeing this, he slows down and asks why she is so jumpy. To which Grandpa Gohan would just point out, Goku, she just saw her family get killed. Of course she's going to be jumpy, my boy. Though then Grandpa Gohan turns his head to the young Lags and asks, "How exactly did you arrive here, though?" Again, Lags shrugs her shoulders and says, "Dunno, some weird purple spiral opened up in front of me, and I jumped through it. The next thing I knew, I was on this mountain." To which she then asks what planet they're even on which Grandpa Gohan answers by saying Earth, a planet that Lags has never heard of. So she asks the planet. So she then softly asks if there's any architecture on the planet. To which Gohan simply replies with, "Oh, there's lots of architecture. There are many. While we live out here in this mountain, and there are many large cities out there on this planet." To which Lags then asks, "If that's the case, why you live here?" Which Gohan simply replies with, It's a peaceful place for an old man like me. And I found Goku about 9 years ago now. He was just a baby and I took him in." Which then causes his Lags to look at Goku and ask, "Why your parents leave you on this mountain?" To which Goku would obviously just give his usual grin and say, "I don't know. Oh, they just did." And of course, Lags would be surprised to hear Goku's nonchalant answer. Goku's to see Goku being so cheerful, or talking about such a tragic thing. Grandpa Gohan then looks at Lags and says to the young girl, and then asks the young girl what her name is. To which she simply replies with, "I'm Lags." And then Grandpa Gohan continues by saying, "Well, Lags, if you have no home of your own anymore, or you can feel free to stay with us as long as you like. Like, this hospitality completely takes her by surprise. And stumbling, she asks, "Are you sure? I don't want to impose." Of course, Goku would be confused by such a big sounding word, such a fancy sounding word. To it, Grandpa Gohan would simply say, "You're not imposing at all." And once again, and Lags essentially just gives it in something that actually somewhat irritates Son Goku, causing Goku to ask, "What? Why you let us tell you what to do?" To which Lag simply replies with, I don't have any reason to live. However, hearing someone younger than himself say such bleak words causes the usually chipper Goku to even be contemplated for what uncharacteristically serious. To which he said, "Yeah, you do. You said some guy killed your family, right? And then becomes trained with us. Become strong so you can avenge. Become strong so you can beat him." Of course, this also catches her off by surprise. However, Lags then agrees. Lags simply then agrees. He's silently, with the only proof being a soft smile. So for the next year, for the next 12 months, and she lives with Goku and Grandpa Gohan, and it is quite a peaceful life. They essentially hunt, train, and live peacefully. However, after hearing Grandpa Gohan tell Goku several times to not look at the full moon, Lags finds herself too curious to stay silent, asking, "Why do you tell him to look away from the moon, old man?" To which Grandpa Gohan simply says, "If he looks at the moon, a monster will come." Something that surprises the young glass manipulating girl. So she asks, "What kind of monster?" However, Grandpa Gohan said, "It's not something we need to worry about." However, this causes Lax to become more tense around Goku, keeping her distance from him even more than she already was. as Grandpa Gohan, however, that and simply said, "Come on time for today's spot. Time for afternoon sparring." And as Goku takes a step, and as Goku and Gohan and Grandpa Gohan both take their stands, and Lags also takes a stance. However, hers is very different. And instead of taking a low center of gravity, she instead takes a stance more close to that of a boxer than a full-on martial artist. However, as the three of them start sparring, Goku and Grandpa Gohan both see the way she is essentially flawlessly moves around with a mixture of speed, agility, and grace, and strikes them at pressure. Strikes with a mixture of surprising power, a mixture of immense power, immense yet restrained power, alongside a surprising amount of precision for a child. However, Grandpa Gohan instinctively notices her style as a mixture of a strange, almost assassination style, known as Sanshin, and as well as mixed with sword and ribbon dancing. And as Grandpa Gohan blocks another one of Goku's punches and tries to dodge a sweeping low kick and manages to just barely jump over a sweeping low kick from Lags. He asks where she learned to fight like that, to which Lags simply replied, "My mum and dad trained me, but they only taught me how to do the basics." Grandpa Gohan then asks where they learned those styles from, and to which Lax confusedly replies that she doesn't know, saying that with both of them saying her saying her dad was friends with some assassin guy who could apparently control time. With her then saying he probably taught him how to do it. With Gohan Grandpa Gohan then making the realization that this time manipulating assassin must have been the one who taught her parents how to utilize such a lethal fighting style. Grandpa Gohan then asks if he knows who this assassin is, to which Lags says she only met him a couple times. Grandpa Gohan then asks if she knows what type of fighting style he used, and if so, is she willing to show her, to which, instead of verbally answering, Lags then takes a style we, the audience, are deeply familiar with as she puts her hands on her hips and leans lowers her as she lowers her stance, puts her hands to her hips and leans forward. However, Grandpa Gohan admits he's never met an assassin with a fighting style like that, let alone one who could manipulate time. Meanwhile, Goku, being Goku, asks if he can fight this assassin guy. Right? Though Lags is surprised to hear, though Lags has essentially become used to Goku's naive optimism and says not a chance, he'd kill you before you can blink. As far as I know, no one can beat him. However, Lags that and utilizes a group of small glass shards to essentially obscure her movements, and by doing so, he manages to land a sneak attack. Manages to land a powerful tiger knee straight to Grandpa Gohan's chest. However, since she held back her power, the attack did not as well as the fact that Grandpa Gohan somewhat instinctively managed to counter with a throw, much to Lags' surprise. The attack only knocked some air out of his lungs, causing both the young warriors to ask how he did that. To which Grandpa Gohan simply says, when you make fight martial arts a part of when you understand that martial arts is a part of your daily life, your body learns to move on its own. And hearing Grandpa Gohan say this causes Goku to energetically grip and ask if he can do that someday. Meanwhile, Lags is completely baffled at the idea of such an ability, and says it's almost like he moved before his it's almost like his body moved before his mind could even catch up, causing Grandpa Gohan to be surprised how she managed to understand and such a technique. After seeing it only once, to which Lags simply replies by trying to emulate the flow herself, the reactive movement herself, and just that. When you work with glass, you learn to see. You learn to see the tiny stuff of that other people can't see. And Grandpa Gohan simply understands, and with a sincere, knowing smile, he says, "I suppose that makes sense. After all, well, glass work requires a great amount of precision, and you need to require and trains the eyes to see the tiniest vibrations, and causing Grandpa Gohan to have an internal monologue, realizing just how ridiculously talented the young Lags is, that she was able to pick up on the technique so easily. As he then points out, you have the basic idea behind it, however you're trying to force your body into it, you have to relax your muscles or it won't work. And as Lags takes in the information and relaxes her body, she manages to put, as Goku goes for a heart punch, goes for a 1-inch punch from her blind side, and Grandpa Gohan is complete. Both Goku and Grandpa Gohan are completely surprised to see her body instinctively, how her body seemed to almost redirect while her body did not seem to automatically dodge or counter it like Grandpa Gohan's did. It did instead it redirected the force as if reflecting energy itself, causing Grandpa Gohan to be even further surprised by her unique potential. And Grandpa Gohan then decided to put an end to the day's sparring and said, "Okay, that's enough, children. That's enough, children. Today, that's enough sparring for today." And as he says that, he sits down in a cross-legged position, and with his hand with his hand forming a square in front of his chest, gesturing for the two of them to take the same step. As they do, he then explains he then tries to explain to them how ki works. However, since Grandpa Gohan is not a scientist, he utilizes he puts it quite in a somewhat simple way, simply just saying, ki is the life energy within all living things. So close your eyes and focus on your breathing, with the twitching of your muscle, the way your muscles twitch, and beating of your and the beating of your heart. But meanwhile, and while Goku struggles to do this, Lags actually manages to pull it off on her first try by creating a spear of light in the pot in between her hands, much to all three of them, as to the surprise of all three of them. However, just as soon as the orb of light forms, it dissipates with Lags sweating profusely, and her eyes widening from fear. Grandpa Gohan, realizing the monster who killed her people must have utilized ki, to which Lags simply solemnly nods her head. So Grandpa Gohan then said, "If it's too painful, you don't have to do it." But Lags then enthusiastically however, Lags then shakes her head and says, "No, I'll learn." Seeing this as determination from Lags, from the usually timid young girl, causes Goku to become more to energetically happily smile and say, "If she can do it, I think if she can do this key thing, I can do it too, right?" To which Lag simply nods her head, and Grandpa Gohan says, "If you don't give up, you should be able to pull it off, Goku. But don't push yourself too hard." However, as Goku focuses and closes his eyes and tries to make the energy appear, tries to surge his energy, make his energy surge. He also manages to make a spear of light. However, his is smaller than Lag's one was. Something that Goku would somewhat disappointedly point out, only then to enthusiastically say, "Hey, well, guess I just have to get stronger then." However, at that exact moment, Grandpa Gohan then said that it's lunchtime, it's dinner time, causing Goku to obviously react the way we all expect, and smile and say, "Goody, I was just getting hungry." Grandpa Gohan then asks Goku to go get some fish, and asks Lags to find some herbs and some herbs and fruit. As the two of them head out to grab the required ingredients, they manage to do so quite quickly. With the Grandpa Gohan steaming the fruits and vegetables, steaming the fish, and with boiling the fish and steaming and heating up and slicing the fruits and some vegetables. The trio sit down to have their meat. And life essentially continues like this for the next 12 months for the three of them. However, one night, as they were about to go to sleep, Goku had to go out because he needed to relieve himself. However, at that exact moment, at that fateful moment, he did the one thing Grandpa Gohan told him not to do. He looked up at the full moon, and as both Gohan and Lags heard Goku grunting in what sound in a mixture of pain and confusion. And Grandpa Gohan realizes what's happening as he grabs the power pole. And as Goku turns into a great ape for the second time in his life, Grandpa Gohan tells Lags to aim for his tail as Grandpa Gohan says that he will distract Goku. At that exact moment, they had to leap out of the house as Goku was about to shatter it. As Goku was about to Goku punches it in his Ozaru form, completely breaking the house, bringing it crumbling down on itself. Lags is momentarily paralyzed by the fear of Goku's massive and powerful form. However, Grandpa Gohan then tells her to. However, she's then hearing Grandpa Gohan fighting trying to distracting Goku. She manages to focus herself. However, as the two of them try to fight the Great Ape version of Goku, Lags manages to stay out of his attack. However, Grandpa Gohan is not as lucky, and one of Goku's attacks manages to kill Grandpa Gohan, causing Lags a great amount of pain, sorrow, and rage, giving her just enough power to overpower the Great Ape Goku and cut his tail off as she remembered Grandpa Gohan's advice. Then, with tears in her eyes, she goes over to Grandpa Gohan and tries to utilize her glass manipulation and to create some kind to essentially close the wound on his body. However, at that exact moment, due to the physical or emotional stress and toll of the whole situation, and she runs out of energy, causing her to scream, causing her to grunt in rage as she tries to force out her ki. However, Grandpa Gohan simply he strokes a stray strand of hair out of her face, away from her face. He's gently smiling as he does, and simply says, "It's okay, it's okay, lads. Everyone's time eventually comes. I guess mine is. I guess mine. I guess mine is now. Oh. We will meet again in my childhood. But please, don't let Goku know he's. Don't let. But please, don't hate Goku. Oh. He can't control that power. But also, don't let him know that he was the monster. That he turned into the monster. He is still your brother. However, as Lax tries to argue, at that exact moment, Grandpa Gohan breathes his last breath, and the exhausted and fatigued Lax, with tears streaming down her face, with glassy tears streaming down her face, screams into the heavens from the pain of losing a loved one once more. However, and at that exact moment, only to then lose consciousness as her fatigue and the wounds from Great Ape Goku's attack would manage to land on her and finally take their toll. However, the next morning, as Goku and Lags both gain consciousness, as Lags starts dragging Grandpa Gohan's body, he getting ready to and begins the process of burying him. And Goku asks what happened, and through her hiding her tear-stained face, Lags simply said, "The monster attacked us. It knocked you out and then killed Grandpa. It's just the two of us now, Goku." However, she doesn't his name due to her emotional detachment, and her even further growing emotional detachment, and her fear that she is cursed to lose anyone she cares about. So in a strained and bitter yet still soft voice, like said, "It's just the two of us now, monkey tail boy. But I can't call you that anymore." Goku's like, "Huh? What do you mean?" As he then realizes he no longer has his tail. And as Goku frantically looks around for it, the Lags just said, "The monster must have ripped it off." However, at that exact moment, and due to her pure-hearted and compassionate nature, her pure-hearted, transparent, and compassionate nature, she starts feeling a mixture of guilt due to her. She starts feeling a mixture of guilt and hate, not at Goku, but at herself, for both having to lie to Goku and for not being strong enough to protect Grandpa Gohan. As the two of them then bury Grandpa Gohan, and Goku asks, "So what are we supposed to do now?" Lags simply Lags with her face still turned away from Goku simply said, "We can we'll continue training. We'll get stronger. Next time we beat the monster." And as life continues for the next 2 years, we end up at the beginning of the beginning of Dragon Ball. With a 12-year-old Son Goku and a 7-year-old lad. And those events go somewhat similar to how they canonically did it. While Goku goes to grab some firewood, Lags is essentially making some glass sculptures back outside the house, which they obviously would have rebuilt using some of the wood and trees around, but also some of Lags' glass manipulation. However, she isn't just sculpting glass. She also then makes a She also then constructs a partial glass clone out of a mixture of both her ki and her glass manipulation and her ki, essentially utilizing her own version of the multiform technique. And she begins sparring against the clone of herself. Well, actually, no, it's a clone. However, as she manages to defeat the clone of herself, she then makes a clone of Grandpa Gohan, both to train with, but also just to talk to. However, the moment she senses Goku getting close with the firewood, she completely shatters. She deconstructs the glass clone of Grandpa Gohan. as Goku and he tosses the as Goku returns to the house with the rolling block of firewood, he then tosses it into the sky. However, before he can jump, Lags is already in the air, and with a precise strike, she shatters the wood into about 10 square blocks of 10 rectangular blocks of firewood. And at that moment, Goku's stomach then starts rumbling, to which Lags simply shrugs. And they both walk into the house, treating the 4-star Dragon Ball as a spirit, with Goku treating the 4-star Dragon Ball as a spiritual medium to Grandpa Gohan, and however Lags simply use it as something to remember him by. Goku who says that they're going to get some food. However, before they leave, either of them can leave the house. As Goku grabs the power pole, they both see the orb start glowing, and look with the two of them looking at each other. They're completely confused and shrugging as neither of them knows how the ball did that, how or why the ball started glowing. So as they go to head out into the forest of Mount Powers, Goku then asks, "So what should we get for lunch today? What should we have for lunch today?" Lags simply just says fish. To which Goku agrees, and as they start hopping from tree to tree, Goku that decides to stop. Goku then decides to start getting some. Goku then decides they should grab some apples or something on the way, which they do indeed do. However, as they both finish their respective apple, Lags simply encases it in glass, and then shatters it into pieces, letting the shards flow in the wind. But Goku just throws it carelessly over his shoulder, and as it lands on a panther or some other wild cat, that I'm not entirely sure what big wild cat it was, big wild cat it was in the canon. So I'm basically just guessing, but I think it was a panther. So anyway, as the finished half-eaten apple core lands on the panther's head, it looks up at the two of them, and jumps at them, and pounces, and essentially starts trying to hunt them down. As Lags and Goku starts playfully running as Lags and Goku both start playfully running in Lags then makes a pair of dragon-like glass wings for herself, so she can start fly. Once they start nearing the edge of the cliff, whilst Goku just jumps down and grabs grabs the branch he canonically did, and as the panther sinks into the river, Goku starts laughing, only for the branch to then snap, causing him to start to fall. And as Lags simply floats down to the piece of land right at the bank of the river, and go somewhere downstream, seeing exactly where Goku was going to end up, and managing to make a glass barricade, that stops Goku, and as he swims over to that piece of the bank, or the river, to that piece of the river bank, Lag turns her head away and points at Goku's clothes, saying, "You should dry them. They need to. You're wet." As Goku takes his clothes off to let them dry, the scene basically goes as we know it as we all know it goes, as we are all familiar with it going. However, whilst Goku uses his rudimentary tail fishing, Lags makes a fully functional glass fishing rod, complete with a glass worm sculpture. Complete with essentially a anglerfish style lure that manages to get the as Goku manages to get one big fish. Lags manages to fish up about 11 fish, and as they are both headed back to the house, they hear a strange rumbling noise. Goku and Lags both turn their attention to the source of that sound on the north, is only to be hit by a very specific vehicle, very specific turbo car that we all know. However, as Goku gets hit by it because he is predictably off guard due to his curiosity and not knowing what the machine is, Lags simply jumps out of the way. he, however, at that exact, however, as Goku gets back on his feet and lands back on the ground, and they both take a fighting start. And Goku saying the iconic lines he did. So you thought you bit. So you're after my our food monster. Come on then, I'll beat you. However, Lag cautiously circles the vehicle, only to stop right next to the front passage, and only to stop right at the driver window as she sees a young blue-haired woman and was still in her in a battle-ready state. And Lags then asks, "Who are you? Why are you here?" Lag simply asks, "Why are you here?" To which Bulma is surprised that a little girl could jump so high. To see that a little girl could jump so high, and looks at Goku and is surprised that the monkey-tailed little boy can seemingly he managed to and that the monkey boy managed to get it back up after being hit full force by a Renault Turbo. Oh. However, as Bulma pulls out her pistol, Lag snatches it right out of her hands right before she can even pull the trigger, turning it to glass and shattering it. Seeing this, Bulma is now more curious than afraid. He starts asking, "Wait, how do you even do that? How did you turn that? How did you turn my gun into glass like that? Like that, kid?" As Bulma then cautiously gets out of the vehicle, out of the car. However, she is too late. They are both too late, as Goku already started picking up. Had already picked up the vehicle and was now and just froze it, with Bulma just barely able to jump out in time, and with her frantically shouting, "Goku, hey, you could have killed me like that, you brute!" Though at the exact same time, Lag just gives Goku a simply looks at Goku. Lag simply gives Goku a side eye before then repeating her question, "Why are you here? What do you want?" To which Bulma says she's looking for something, though she does not tell them what that thing is. Goku, being Goku, then just says, "Well, since you're here now, or you might as well join us for lunch." However, due to a pragmatic nature, however, Ags simply points out to Goku, we don't know who she is. She could be lying. Something that confused Goku simply shrugs his shoulders, saying, she's lying and a bad person. We can just beat her. Though, meanwhile, Bulma is essentially he's stunned and somewhat enraged that this girl would even think something so terrible about her. However, due to Lag's social anxiety and Goku's relentless request to share their food to at least host her for lunch, since Grandpa taught them to be kind to women and taught them to be kind to people, to be kind to other people, to others. Lags essentially relents, and however, she keeps her guard up. Bulma then asks if they're out here on their own, all on their own, and to which Goku simply replied, "Yep, it's just the two of us." However, Goku then encircled Bulma, trying to see where she's hiding her tail, only for Lags to remind Goku, not everybody has a tail. However, before Bulma can even ask, Lags simply says, "It's real." And just to prove the point, Goku starts wagging his tail. However, as Lag starts using her glass manipulation to make the fish float through the air behind them, Bulma then again asks how she's creating glass like that out of nowhere. And since Bulma is a scientist, he basically doesn't believe in magic, but at the same time she can't. So she asks if it's some kind, but at the same time, since she can't, since she doesn't see any sand being melted or anything like that, she asks it. She has no, and she basically has no other alternative but to ask if it's magic, like causing Lag to actually scuttle and basically pat out, a reaction that causes Goku to be surprised. only for him to then remember that's exactly how she reacted when when he and Grandpa asked about how her how glass works. Lag simply then replies, "Not magic." Then Bulma then even more curiously asks, "Then how does it work?" And however, Lag simply says, "You don't need to know." However, Lag simply says, "Why should I tell you? I don't even know if I can trust you." Which again causes Bulma to essentially be offended, asking, why you think so? Hey, I'm not a thief. I'm not. It's not like I'm a thief or a killer. I'm a scientist. However, due to Lag's high level high intuition and precise information analysis, she can tell that Bulma isn't telling them the entire truth, going as far as to say, maybe you are, maybe you're not. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. However, before Bulma can let out another retort, Goku then asks what her name is to which she says, "I'm Bulma. What's your name?" "My name's Bulma." Isn't it obvious? "I'm Bulma." What's your name, kid?" To which Goku says, "I'm Goku." To which Goku and Bulma both Goku and Lag look at each other only with Goku and softly chuckling and Lag simply cheekily smirking and causing Bulma to even more irritated. As she then asks his name, to which Goku says, "I'm Son Goku." And then before Bulma can even ask Lag's his name, Goku points at her and says, "That's Lag. She's my little sister, Lags." However, Bulma then points out, they don't look anything alike. To which Lag says, "Surrogate," causing Bulma to realize that they're not family by blood. To realize is something they must have gone through some kind of trauma or something, causing her to momentarily soften. And as they enter the clearing near the house, Lag curiously looks at Bulma and asks, "If you're a scientist, however, Goku then asks what that thing she was riding in before, that monster she managed to tame before was." To which Lag simply said, "It's a car of Goku." Well, she doesn't use his name, and she just says she just says the word car. And Goku curiously asks, "That's one of that was one of those car thingies?" which Bulma's like, yeah, what, you never seen one? Goku's like, only in pictures. That was the first time I saw one for real. However, Lags then asks, if you're a scientist, what field do you study? Bulma then and cheekily asks, what? You scared I know more about more glass than you, kid? However, not taking the obvious bait, Lags simply says, no architecture then. To which Bulma simply confusedly blinks and says, architecture? To which Goku says, yeah, apparently she likes that stuff. I don't know what it is though. To which Lags would just point out, it's making stuff. However, Bulma would then smugly add in that it's not just making things, it's and actually go into detail about what architecture is. However, the moment Goku opens the door or to the house to pray to the Dragon Ball, Bulma sees the glowing orange spear and pushes him out of the way, causing Lags to simply scoff off as she dashes forward before Bulma can even react and grabs the orb and creates a glass dome around it. But as she scowls at Bulma and simply says, knew you were after something. Goku then realizes Bulma was after the memento of their grandfather and takes his battle stance once more. However, Lags then Lag gets in the way in between both of them and simply glares at Bulma and simply asks, why you want it? To which Bulma then pulls out the 2-star and 6-star Dragon Balls that she had and essentially explains what they are to the two confused children. And as Bulma explains what the Dragon Balls are and how they work, Lag essentially just lazily tosses the 4-star ball up and catches it, doing so multiple times. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to this trio, so in a distant cave, another trio who just so happened to have found the 1-star ball. That obviously being the Pilaf gang. Bulma then offers the two of them the two children a deal, saying, how about this? You guys let me borrow the Dragon Ball for my wish, and I'll let you, and you two can with come with me to collect the other Dragon Balls, and once the journey's over, uh, I'll borrow your Dragon Ball, or to make my wish. However, Goku then grabs out the air before it can land in Lag's hand and says, "We get to keep it though. You give it back to us right after the wish." However, Lags, as observant as she is, has realized they're hiding something again. Bulma then realizes she can't hide things from Lags is too observant, and the young glass girl is too observant to hide things from. So she basically just explains once you make a wish, the Dragon Balls turn to stone for a whole year. Causing causing Goku's eyes to widen in horror and a mix of horror and disbelief. Whilst Lags keeps her stoic demeanor intact, she her body her muscles unconsciously tense. As she then asks, how long, to which, however, Lags then over here, realizing Bulma just said it only turned to stone for a year after scattering, after the wishes and they scatter. So she asks, "You track them, but how?" To which Bulma pulls out her Dragon Ball radar and basically explains how she made the machine to detect the unique electromagnetic signature of the. However, as the technical information goes completely over Goku's head and only somewhat over Lags' head due to her own society, as far as we know, being technologically advanced. And however, Lags essentially only be a 7-year-old at this point, would not fully understand such complex machinery. However, she would probably know what electromagnetic signals are and start thinking to herself about if the orbs emit their own energy, then maybe she can track